Hello people, welcome to my attic. Today we are going to take a look at one of the starter sets from Roco, which is mainly HOE, basically narrow gauge in HO scale. So let's start to have a look. So, as is already visible, I already put down the track layout. I have this set now for a few months, just to make sure that I was happy with it. By the way, sorry for the background noises, but right behind that window is a street. I can't do anything about it. But let's take a look at the packaging in general. It's a nice cardboard box, not a lot to it, to be fair. Nothing on the back, not a lot on the side except for the number and the set that it shows itself. This picture is a reminiscent of the wagons that you actually get with the set. That you get nice in front of the box. This set includes a loop of track, as you can see here, the controller with the adapter and the train that you see on the picture. In general, I am not really that big of a fan of the kind of packaging that this is, mainly because it's just styrofoam. I found that the wagons were very easy to get out of, but the locomotive is very tight in there. You do have this plastic wrapped around it that you can use, but I wouldn't recommend putting the locomotive in and out of this. It's very tight. One of the things that you do get though is this. A little bag with several smokestacks for the locomotive that you can just swap out. All the track is held together by these rubber bands. You will see here at the bottom a fish plate. More on that later. But I'll put this aside now and we'll just take a look at the set itself. So, this is the loop of track that you get. Two straights on either side. And about the fish plates is a thing that really needs to be mentioned. You see up top wires running from the track. The track that you get, the straight tracks, are like these, with a fish plate on either end. And there is no track with wires on it. The wires are separate in the box with their own fish plates. So if you get this set, you will have to do the fiddly job of taking two pieces of tracks, taking those fish plates off, one on this side, one on the other side, depending on which two pieces you take, and put the power track fish plates on it. The taking off isn't that difficult. Putting those fish plates on in its place, basically, that can be a very fiddly job. Now let's go towards the locomotive. This is the locomotive that you get. You can see the motor sitting in the cab. To be fair, that's something you can't really complain about because just look at the size of it. I don't have big hands, so this is quite a small locomotive. And again, sorry for the background noise. To be fair, for the size that it is, the linkage is done amazingly. And it is mostly metal. The main linkage is metal. The small parts you see here, those are plastic. But to be fair, at this size, if you try to make it metal, I think it would be too brittle or break off too easily. You see that the middle wheel is the one that is powered, so the linkage actually has some use. It's nicely detailed, and here you can see basically the bit that narrows down where the smokestack and the locomotive meet. That's something that you will have with every smokestack unless you modify the underneath and make it a little bit shorter. That was not something that I was planning to do, so honestly it doesn't bother me too much. You do have fake headlights on either side. Even the coal bunger is there, filled with fake coal, which is very obvious, but still very nice that you get this. And the rivets on the locomotive in general are also just a very nice detail. So yeah, this is the locomotive that you get. Now for the wagons. You get two types that I am now completely ripping off the track. One is the general mine wagons. Wagons that, well, tipper wagons that really lets you think of what was used by the mines, open mines and so on. That they have metal wheels is great. You see here the coupling linkage. It is very nice, although I found that the height of the wagon couplers aren't the same as a locomotive. I will show you that later. It's just a little wagon. It's a very nice wagon. It doesn't tip though. It's stuck. And that's done by design. Because, well yeah, you just can see. If you really want to make it look tipped, honestly, you can just pull one side of. You can just pull on one side and you can take the bucket off. And then just, I'm trying to do this. Just put it like that and it looks tipped, so. It's not completely stuck, but for driving, it's best that you do it this way. The other type of wagon is also a tipping wagon, but just with a different bucket. I think they both just look really nice. They come empty, so you can put some sand in there, put some coal in there to make it look whatever load it's holding. Nice little wagons, very light, but what do you expect from something this small? So yeah, I would say let's run this. The only other thing that I can say is basically with the controller. Here we have the Roco controller. People that are already a little bit busy with the motor railways know that these are basically now a copy of the early Flashman analog controllers that are still in use today. Roco and Flashman basically work together now, or merged together, I'm not sure about that. And you also got the standard adapter that you get with every Roco and every Flashman set, so I won't go too deep into that. So let's set up the train again and well yeah, run it. So now we're here to put the train on the track. There are still two wagons on the track. To be fair, the wagons themselves, they couple up very nicely. And there is another car. The wagons themselves couple up very nicely. But if you're going to look closer when the locomotive is on the track, you will see that the lip of the locomotive is quite a bit lower. Which means the lip actually can't connect unless you lift the back of the locomotive up. It's a little thing. For me it isn't that big of a deal, but people that like to shunt might have to keep that in mind. But the transformer is put in, and now let's go for a run. So here we have the locomotive running right now. It's actually quite a quiet runner. It can stop from time to time since the track has been laying here for a while and haven't been run yet. For a while. This is the maximum speed as you can get. I wouldn't recommend running it on it because yeah, basically it isn't that much realistic, and it's always so much nicer when trains can run around on a regular speed. Of course it's going to be slow because very small wheels, a very small locomotive, it's narrow gauge, these things never go fast. I paid for this starting set 125 euros. I gotta be honest, I'm at this time 24. I know when I was still around 6, starting sets being around 50, 80 euros. But things get more expensive over time. Let's clean this up a bit. Things get more expensive over time. In general, 125, it's still one of the very affordable starting sets, let's be honest. The moment you go under 100 euros, you just get the plastic track with a controller and everything run on batteries. I would honestly recommend this for people starting off in model railway, especially for narrow gauge, since this is narrow gauge. It has to be kept in mind. These wires have their separate fish plates, and you will have to do the very fiddly job of, from 2 pieces of tracks, remove one fish plate and put the fish plate on where the wire is attached to. I also have another start set in narrow gauge. It's basically the same, but except for other wagons and other locomotive. And that's one that I would less recommend because of how the locomotive runs. But that will be for another video. Thanks for watching. I hope I didn't bore you too much. And well, yeah. This is a little engine running very quietly, very softly, very reliably. I'll see you another time.